Okay, this video is part one of how the Catholic Church built Western civilization. This guy right here is Tom Woods. He's a very smart guy. He's a Harvard-trained historian, and he's the author of the book, How the Catholic Church Built Western Civilization. He also did a TV show, and I think there's about something like 10 parts to how the Catholic Church built civilization. I have a couple observations to make. I read the book, cover to cover twice. Listened to it in the car, and I've watched his videos too. And the guy's very bright. He really knows a lot. He tells the truth. That's all great. But what I noticed is, I have a family with a whole bunch of different sort of like ethnic groups in my family and friends, And what I'm getting at is I've seen the Irish Christians, okay, the Irish Catholics. I have seen the Puerto Rican Christians and Catholics, okay, some of the Spanish Christians and Catholics, all right. I've seen the Polish Catholics. And out of all of them, the best ones are the Puerto Ricans. And you would say, well, why do I say that? Because I know them, because that's how my mother was. It's a very emotional Christianity, and it's more powerful than the intellectual Christianity. What I mean is, you need a scholarly guy like Tom Woods to get all the facts straight. This guy reads everything, and he knows a tremendous amount. But there's not that many people are intellectual. If you're only going to talk about Christianity from all the intellectual, logical arguments, you're only going to reach a small percentage of people, 10% or something, maybe 20%, all right? And it's good that people learn about it. They should learn it in school. Some of it will soak into their subconscious. But the emotional component is more powerful, I think. So anyways, he's fantastic for giving you all the arguments. If you watch his things, you'll see he will tell you no one has done anywhere near what the Catholic Church has done for science, for astronomy, for charity, for education. Where do you think the universities came from? They came from the cathedral schools that Charlemagne had declared, back around 800 AD. Okay, so those great cathedrals were made into schools, many of them made into universities. They encouraged free debate, the greatest free debates you've had ever since Athens, all right? They're magnificent. That's where all this education and science comes from. The modern scientific method comes from the Catholic Church. Anyways, I'm going to put the link to his TV show. It's 10 parts. Each one's about 20-25 minutes. And they're very good. But what you're going to see, he's very intellectual and he talks a lot. And why do I say that the Puerto Rican emotional Christianity is better? Because Jesus Christ was their friend, their best friend. That's non-negotiable. Whereas I'd have these Irish cousins who I like them. They're nice, but they're kind of intellectual lightweights. And I could see how you could just push them into anything because they're not intellectually strong enough. They don't know enough apologetics. They're not smart enough to debate all this stuff. So they can get pushed into different things. And like one of my cousins said that she was a Christian, but she was a Democrat. I'm like, you can't be a Christian and a Democrat. That's like an oxymoron. That's like saying I'm a communist and I'm a Christian when the goal of communism is to get rid of all the Christians. You can't do that. Then you're an idiot. But anyways, be that as it may, you will be amazed at how good his arguments are for Christianity. When you say the word civilization, you're pretty much saying Christianity. All through the world, since the beginning of recorded time, 99.9% of countries have basically been a brutal dictator who says, do what I say or I will kick your ass. Okay, that's a typical country. And they never produce anything. They suck at everything. They suck at literature. They suck at painting. They stink at music. They stink at almost everything. All they do is have to bow down to some tyrant ruler, okay? And they stink, all right? It's Christianity where they let freedom occur. Christianity got rid of slavery. Slavery continues in almost every other country, all right? They got rid of it through Christianity, okay? And it encourages beautiful art, beautiful music, beautiful buildings. It has the best architecture, the best literature, the best music, the best science, the best of everything. That's why people all want to come live in Christian countries. Anyways, he will talk about where all that comes from. You'll hear the nitty-gritty truth from a great historian. So I'll put the link in the description below. Hopefully you enjoy it. This is part one. I'm later on going to do a part two where I review his book and go into a lot more detail, and I'll show you more of an emotional side to what was achieved that's complementary to what he says.